In life, the phrase "work harder" serves not just as a motivational slogan, but as a guiding principle for achieving goals, unlocking potential, and transforming dreams into reality. It's an encouragement that pushes individuals beyond comfort zones, past limitations, and through obstacles. Whether in academics, careers, sports, or personal development, hard work remains one of the most critical factors for success. Unlike talent or luck, which are often seen as fixed or out of one's control, hard work is something everyone can choose to do. It's the equalizer that gives each person, regardless of their background or starting point, the chance to grow and thrive. Working harder is not simply about putting in more hours or exhausting oneself. It's about focus, effort, consistency, and an unshakable desire to improve. Consider a student preparing for a difficult exam. They may not be the most naturally gifted in the subject, but through regular study, taking, asking questions, practicing past papers, and staying disciplined, they can outperform even the most talented peers who don't put in the same level of effort. Similarly, in sports, an athlete who shows up early to train, repeats drills until they are second nature, and studies their performance to improve weaknesses, often finds themselves standing on the podium, not always because they are the most naturally skilled, but because they have worked hard and refused to quit. Hard work develops not only skill, but also character. It teaches patience when results are slow, determination when faced with failure, and humility when success finally arrives. It builds a mindset that understands success is earned, not given. Those who embrace the concept of working harder tend to accept challenges rather than shy away from them, knowing that with enough effort, they can rise to meet almost any demand. Even in everyday life, we see examples of how working harder pays off. A small business owner staying up late to fulfill customer orders, an artist perfecting their craft after years of trial and error, a parent juggling multiple jobs to provide a better future for their family. All are powerful examples of people choosing to push themselves beyond average because they believe in something greater. At the heart of working harder is purpose. Without a purpose, working harder can feel like punishment. But when there is a vision, something meaningful to work toward, then effort becomes passion and hard work becomes a way of life. This is why people who are truly motivated by their goals often don't see hard work as suffering. They see it as progress. Even when tired, they press on because they know why they are doing it. The rewards of working harder are not always instant, but they are always worth it. In the process, individuals gain more than success. They gain self-respect, discipline, and a deep sense of fulfillment that comes from knowing they gave their best. Furthermore, working harder sets a powerful example for others. It inspires teammates, classmates, co-workers, and even strangers to elevate their own standards. In a world where shortcuts, quick fixes, and instant gratification are increasingly popular, those who are willing to work harder stand out. They become leaders not just because of their results, but because of their work ethic, and that kind of leadership is contagious. It spreads into communities, schools, businesses, and families. However, it's important to remember that working harder doesn't mean working without rest or pushing oneself to the point of breakdown. Smart work is a key part of hard work. Knowing when to pause, reflect, and adjust is just as important as putting in the hours. A person who works hard also learns to manage their time, prioritize their goals, eliminate distractions, and use their energy wisely. In fact, working harder often means making sacrifices, not just of time and comfort, but of bad habits, laziness, and fear. To truly work harder is to be committed to constant self-improvement. It's waking up each day asking, "What can I do better?" and being honest enough to follow through. It's refusing to settle for mediocrity. It's choosing discipline over excuses, effort over ease, and progress over perfection. Working harder may not always feel good in the moment. There will be days of frustration, failure, and fatigue. But those who stick with it, who keep going when others quit, are the ones who reap the long-term rewards. They don't just achieve their goals, they become stronger, wiser, and more capable along the way. Their journey becomes proof that while talent can open doors, it is hard work that builds the path to walk through them. In every corner of the world, from classrooms to boardrooms, from gyms to stages, the people who make the biggest impact are those who are willing to work harder, not because someone told them to, but because they chose to. They understand that success is not owned, it is leased, and the rent is due every day. They choose to show up, to do the hard things, and to give more than what is expected. They understand that if they want more from life, they must give more to life. And in doing so, they not only change their own future, but often inspire others to do the same. Working harder may be challenging, but it is also empowering. It puts your future in your own hands. It reminds you that no matter where you start, you can go far if you're willing to do the work. Working harder also plays a critical role in shaping one's mindset. It rewires the brain to think long term, to delay gratification, and to value persistence over perfection. When individuals commit to working harder, they begin to understand that failure is not a stopping point, but a stepping stone. Mistakes become lessons, not losses. Setbacks become setups for comebacks. This mental shift is powerful because it moves people from a fixed mindset, where they believe their abilities are limited, to a growth mindset where they understand that effort leads to improvement. For example, a young musician might struggle with mastering a complex piece of music. They might fail over and over again, but by choosing to work harder, practicing slowly, seeking feedback, and pushing through frustration, they eventually achieve what once seemed impossible. The transformation isn't just in their skill, it's in their confidence and belief in their ability to overcome challenges. This is the hidden gift of hard work. It strengthens the mind just as much as it builds the body or improves performance. In education, students who work harder begin to see that grades are not solely a reflection of intelligence, but also of effort. In the workplace, employees who go the extra mile develop a reputation for reliability and excellence, which often leads to promotions and leadership opportunities. Hard work teaches that results may be delayed, but they are never denied to those who persist. It cultivates patience, which is essential in a world driven by instant results. The mindset of working harder also teaches responsibility, taking ownership of one's actions, outcomes, and growth. It eliminates the tendency to blame others or make excuses because the focus shifts inward. What can I do better? This kind of thinking doesn't just change outcomes, it changes lives. People stop waiting for chances and start creating them. They stop depending on luck and start depending on effort. And the more they invest in themselves, the more they grow in confidence, resilience, and independence. Over time, they become people who can be trusted, who can lead, and who can face uncertainty with courage. This mental toughness doesn't come from avoiding hard things. It comes from doing them repeatedly, even when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient. Working harder, then, is not just a path to achievement. It's a process of transformation. It shapes a person into someone who can handle the weight of success because they've earned it. That is perhaps the most valuable outcome of all. The act of working harder is also deeply tied to building discipline, a skill that serves as the foundation for long-term success in any field. Discipline is not something people are born with. It is something forged through repeated decisions to do what is necessary, even when it is uncomfortable or inconvenient. It is the choice to wake up early when you'd rather sleep, to study when others are relaxing, to train when no one is watching, and to keep going long after motivation fades. When someone decides to work harder, they are not only increasing their chances of achieving external goals, but they are also developing the internal strength to push through resistance and stay the course. This is especially important in a world where distractions are everywhere and quitting is often easier than continuing. Social media, instant entertainment, and a culture of quick rewards can make it tempting to give up when things get hard. But those who work harder learn to delay gratification and focus on long-term outcomes instead of short-term pleasure. That's what separates those who achieve greatness from those who merely wish for it. Greatness, in any form, demands sacrifice. It demands saying no to distractions and yes to consistency. Athletes don't become champions by skipping practice. Writers don't produce meaningful work by avoiding the blank page. Entrepreneurs don't build companies by working only when they feel inspired. They all learn at some point that success is built day by day, hour by hour, task by task, and that it requires effort whether they feel like it or not. Discipline, born from working harder, becomes a personal superpower. It gives people the ability to control their actions rather than be controlled by moods or circumstances. And once someone masters that kind of self-control, there is very little they cannot achieve. In fact, working harder often reveals just how much potential someone truly has. Many people never discover what they're capable of because they stop at the first sign of difficulty. They assume that struggle means they're not good enough, when in reality, struggle is simply the process of growth in motion. Working harder helps people push past that initial discomfort and reach levels of performance they never thought possible. This process is not always exciting or glamorous. In fact, it is often repetitive, tiring, and unrecognized. But that's what makes it powerful. Anyone can work hard when it's fun. The real strength is shown when people work hard even when it's boring, when no one is cheering for them, and when the results aren't immediately visible. That kind of effort builds character. It shapes individuals into people who can handle pressure, stay focused under stress, and perform when it matters most. Furthermore, working harder fosters a strong sense of personal pride. It feels good to know you gave something your all. It builds self-respect, not just because of the outcome, but because of the effort. Even when goals aren't fully reached, there's a deep satisfaction in knowing you didn't give up. That pride doesn't depend on recognition from others, it comes from within. Over time, this inner pride grows into quiet confidence, a belief that if you've overcome challenges before, you can do it again. That confidence, in turn, fuels future efforts and leads to even greater success. In relationships, too, hard work matters. Whether it's being a good friend, a supportive partner, or a reliable family member, putting in the effort to listen, communicate, and show up consistently is a form of working harder. It shows that you care, that you're willing to invest in others, and that you're not just looking for easy or one-sided connections. Relationships that thrive are those built on effort, not convenience. Working harder in this context isn't about grand gestures. It's about consistency, reliability, and being willing to do what's right even when it's not easy. So, in every area of life, academics, career, health, creativity, and relationships, choosing to work harder leads to growth. It transforms potential into progress and turns ordinary people into extraordinary ones. It is not the most talented or lucky who rise to the top, but those who refuse to quit. Every step taken in effort, no matter how small, moves a person forward. And while the journey may be long and the road may be steep, those who are willing to work harder will always move farther than those who wait for things to happen on their own. They understand that the gap between where they are and where they want to be is not crossed by wishing, but by working. That understanding becomes their fuel, and their discipline becomes the engine that carries them toward their goals. They may stumble, they may fall, but they will always get back up, because working harder becomes who they are, not just what they do. Another important aspect of working harder is the opportunity it creates for continuous learning and self-improvement. When someone commits to putting in extra effort, they open themselves up to new experiences, challenges, and lessons that would otherwise be missed. Hard work encourages curiosity and resilience because it pushes individuals to seek out better ways to accomplish tasks and overcome obstacles. It teaches that failure is not final but a valuable part of the learning process. For example, an entrepreneur who works tirelessly to build a business might face repeated setbacks, whether it's financial difficulties, product failures, or tough competition. But through each failure, they learn more about their market, their customers, and their own strengths and weaknesses. That learning, powered by hard work, eventually leads to smarter decisions and greater success. Similarly, a student who studies harder gains not only knowledge but also problem-solving skills, time management, and the ability to think critically. This growth goes beyond just grades. It shapes how they approach life's problems and opportunities. Working harder also encourages adaptability, a critical skill in today's rapidly changing world. When people put effort into their goals consistently, they become more flexible in their approach. They learn to adjust plans, embrace new ideas, and stay motivated even when the original path becomes difficult or outdated. This ability to adapt is essential for long-term success because it ensures progress doesn't stop when circumstances change. Moreover, working harder helps build meaningful habits that support personal and professional growth. Habits like discipline, persistence, and a strong work ethic are developed through regular effort. These habits often become automatic, creating a foundation for success that doesn't rely solely on motivation or inspiration, which can be fleeting. For instance, a writer who commits to writing every day, even for just a short time, will produce more work over a year than someone who waits for the perfect moment or mood. These habits compound over time, leading to extraordinary achievements that might seem impossible at first glance. Another benefit of working harder is the sense of ownership it instills. When you invest your time and energy into something, you naturally feel more connected and responsible for the outcome. This ownership drives people to take pride in their work, hold themselves accountable, and push for higher standards. It's a powerful motivator because it shifts the mindset from passively hoping for success to actively creating it. People who work harder don't wait for opportunities, they make them. They don't blame circumstances, they control what they can. This proactive attitude is crucial because it empowers individuals to take charge of their futures rather than being controlled by external forces. Importantly, working harder does not mean sacrificing mental or physical health. In fact, true hard work recognizes the importance of balance and self-care. People who work harder learn to manage their energy wisely, incorporating rest, nutrition, exercise, and mindfulness into their routines. This balanced approach helps sustain long-term effort and prevents burnout. It also teaches that working smarter and harder go hand in hand. Being efficient with time and focused in effort maximizes productivity and results. Finally, working harder is a source of inspiration and influence for others. When people witness someone's dedication and commitment, it motivates them to raise their own standards. Hard work creates a ripple effect that spreads through families, communities, and workplaces. It becomes a culture of striving, improvement, and excellence. Leaders who work harder set an example that encourages teamwork, loyalty, and shared success. In this way, working harder doesn't just change individual lives. It transforms environments and society at large. It fosters progress, innovation, and resilience on a larger scale. To sum up, working harder is not simply about exerting more effort. It's about embracing a mindset of continuous learning, adaptability, ownership, and balance. It's about building habits and character that lead to sustained growth and achievement. Those who commit to working harder open themselves to new possibilities and become catalysts for positive change in their own lives and the lives of others. This kind of dedication, when paired with intelligence and passion, is unstoppable. It turns ordinary ambitions into extraordinary realities, proving time and again that while talent and luck may play roles, it is hard work that truly makes dreams come true. Ultimately, the power of working harder lies not just in the tangible outcomes it produces, but in the transformation it creates within individuals. When people commit themselves to put in consistent, focused effort, they begin to unlock potential they didn't know they had. Hard work builds resilience, discipline, and character, all of which are essential for overcoming the inevitable challenges that come with pursuing meaningful goals. It turns dreams into achievable targets by breaking down large ambitions into smaller, manageable steps that, when tackled one at a time, lead to progress. Moreover, working harder fosters a mindset of growth and learning, teaching individuals to view setbacks as opportunities for improvement rather than reasons to quit. This mindset is crucial in a world that constantly demands innovation, adaptability, and perseverance. While working harder requires sacrifices, time, comfort, sometimes even social life, it also brings rewards far greater than success alone. It provides a deep sense of fulfillment and self-respect that comes from knowing you gave your best regardless of the outcome. In a society that often seeks quick fixes and instant gratification, the willingness to work harder separates those who merely dream from those who actually achieve. It's this ethic of effort and dedication that builds lasting success and meaningful lives. So, whether you are a student striving for academic excellence, an athlete pushing past physical limits, an artist honing your craft, or simply someone working toward a better future, remember that hard work is your most reliable tool. It is not a guarantee of an easy path, but it is the surest path to growth, opportunity, and achievement. By embracing the challenge to work harder, you embrace the possibility of becoming the best version of yourself. And in that commitment lies the true meaning of success.